To say that there are a lot of TV shows and such out there right now is an understatement. There are various channels that have multitudes of programming that are tailored to all sorts of people, which on the surface is fine. But then you get things like TLC's Extreme Cheapskates, and you can't help but wonder, how is this a real thing? But the sad thing is that not only is it a real thing, it's something that went from a one special into an entire series. While people may have been curious about it at first, eventually it became something that people just can't watch. Allow us to show you why. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 5. What is Extreme Cheapskates? We'll lightly touch upon this, because we're sure that some of you aren't familiar with the show. Basically, this series documents those who are so desperate to save money, even a few dollars, that they'll go and do things that are insane, ludicrous, and oftentimes disgusting in order to save that money. For example, one person would go dumpster diving for an anniversary gift for his wife, which is dumb and insulting at the same time. Another person would go and use paper towels, then wash them and dry them so that they could be reused and thus not have to spend any money to get another batch. You might not think that there are enough people to fulfill these shows' requirements for multiple episodes, and you would be wrong. They had 3 seasons of 26 episodes, which means that they were able to find seasons worth of people before they finally stopped. But yet, despite it being canceled years ago, they're still replaying episodes, which turns off people even more. Number 4. The gross factor. Let's be honest here, just about all of us are frugal in some ways, right? Whether it be making food rather than getting fast food, or canceling a membership for something like Netflix for a few months because you know you won't be watching it, and of course, looking for the best sales on foods so that you don't pay too much. We all have a frugal side, and frugality can be a good thing at times. The problem with Extreme Cheapskates is that these people literally go to the most insane lengths measurable in order what amounts to a few dollars per act and maybe a couple $100 a month. It's not worth it. Especially when you factor in that some of these people are literally doing gross and unhealthy acts to satisfy their need to save money. One of the people who was on the show was a restaurant owner, which you'd think would mean that he's well enough to spend a couple of bucks here and there. But no, he would go and collect the plates of his patrons, and any food that was left he would box up and take home, even if it was partially eaten. That's near infinitely unhealthy because he doesn't know where those people have been before going to the restaurant. One of those that disgusted us the most is that there was one person who would reuse tissues, even after blowing their nose into them. How disgusting is that? And trust us when we say it doesn't get better from there. It only gets worse. 3 seasons of this stuff happened, and it honestly showed a lot of things about people both inside and out. Number 3. We only want to see the worst of us at times. Humanity is a very interesting mindset when it comes to viewing shows about other people. When it's sitcoms and such, we have that disconnect that is not real. When it's reality shows, we know there are scripted elements, but we're for the drama and action. And in case of certain sports shows featuring average Joes, we're there to see them get hurt. Shows like Extreme Cheapskates are for those who don't mind seeing some of the absolute worst of humanity doing absolutely dumb things to save money, which is a smaller audience than you might expect. Even the reviews for the show noted that this was not for those who get queasy easily, which we are just talking about this show. Granted, some people likely watch the show to see how bad it could be, or how dumb some people are. But eventually, the appeal ran out. We do want to see people doing dumb things, but there's a limit, and apparently that limit was 3 seasons. Number 2. We don't watch what we won't be. This entry might sound philosophical, but we're meaning this in a different way than you might think. Think about a show like Survivor. All sorts of people watch that show, and thus it lasted a long time. One of the reasons for this are all the ways that people can play the game to try and win. So many people can watch that show and go, I can do that, or I can do that better, while others refuse to watch that show because they know they couldn't survive or couldn't do the backstabbing needed in certain cases to advance. For Extreme Cheapskates, that connection to the people on the show honestly can't exist for about 90% of the people watching. Now sure, not everything these people do are gross or bad, like growing your own food so you don't have to spend money at the store. Lots of people do that. But in regards to certain things we mentioned earlier, or the great lengths that people in these shows go to in order to save a few bucks, people just can't connect with that or stomach it. So thus, why would you watch a show like this about real people that you can't connect with on any level, nor would you ever want to be like? Exactly. Number 1. The truth about reality. Here's the other major thing that kinda killed Extreme Cheapskates. While many of the people are shown to be cheapskates, and TLC went all out to try and make sure that they got the worst of the worst, it was confirmed by some of the show that some of the stuff they film isn't real. In one case, a woman who was on the show noted that they showed her and her family using newspapers instead of toilet paper, which was a lie. They did that for the show, but don't do that in real life. Other people from the show apparently had that happen too, which means TLC was exaggerating at times just how much these people were cheapskates. And when you lose that reality element, you lose your chance to further connect with the audience, which is why you don't believe everything you see on TV. So there you have it, everyone. A look at Extreme Cheapskates and how the show has turned off a lot of people because of its content. Do you still watch the show? Are you one of the people who started off watching it and then got turned off by it over time? Can you believe it's still on the air in any capacity? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.